Welcome, everybody, to Broadcast Team Alpha. I am so excited to have our friend Jeni back on. I always love when Jenny's here with us, bringing you cosmic conversation while exploring the quantum possibilities. And with Jeni here, we are so going there tonight. If you want a mini reading, here's the parameters. It's going to be at the last half hour of the show. Please put your question, a clear, specific question, not like what's going to happen for me or what's coming up for me. Be very specific and let us know if you're male or female, your first name, your astrological sign. And Jeni is she is so the real deal. I can't even tell you the experiences that I've had with her in my life that I just absolutely love Jeni. So shout out to our friends over at the Conscious Awakening Network. We're streaming over there. We're on 40 other platforms. And really go take a look at what's happening over there. They keep growing in leaps and bounds. And our friend Sheila Seppi over there and her team is just I don't know, breaking the speed limit on what she's building over there. So I highly encourage you to go check out her guests. She's going to have a space, it may be open, I don't know yet, where we can put content that we couldn't put on this platform because it would get flagged or taken away. So how awesome is that? That's going to be amazing. The other thing is I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for your super chats. And whoever went to our Patreon for the Mastermind Connection and made that very generous donation, we are just so thankful, and I hope that we get to thank you personally. Right now, it's anonymous for us, so we don't know. But thank you so much. And if you'd like to join us at the Mastermind Connection, we get together on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern. We get together and decide what we want to see happen in the world, in each other, in ourselves, in our family, our animals, right? And the political scene. We want what we want to manifest. We close our eyes, we have beautiful relaxation, incredible imagery, and we just put it up into the quantum realm. And then it begins to take shape in this physical world. And we have stories that it's just undeniable how it absolutely works. So if you want to join us, send an email to the mastermind connection at gmail.com. Augie will send you the link. The first time you come in, we do ask that you come on camera just so we can get to know you and hang out with us. The second hour, we have conversation. And believe me, if you're craving deep and meaningful conversation, come join us, because we have conversation that just makes me sit there and go, I cannot believe that we have 30 people, sometimes 30 people, often 30 people, having this incredibly expanded consciousness conversation, especially if you can't talk to your parents or your spouse or your friends, right? Come and just hang out. We don't have all the answers, but I have to tell you, some of the questions we come up with, the questions in and of themselves are so satisfying. So send an email to the mastermind connection at gmail.com, and we'd love to see you there on Sunday. Without any further ado, I know she does not need much of an intro, Augie, but please, for maybe the people who are new, tell us about our amazing friend Jeni.
Yes, this is going to be so much fun because Jeni G is she has some unusual abilities, and I want to mention some of those to you. For those of you that don't know her, if you stumble onto this show, I know you're going to stay to the end because this is going to get good. She is she is an internationally known television host, a psychic medium, a clairvoyant, past life, Akashic record reader. She's a relationship coach, an intuitive life coach, and a Canadian TV host for 4 years, and she is a sought-after guest on different shows, podcasts, and radio and TV and things like that. Now, I we are going to talk about, well, let me back up just a second because these are tricky times out there right now. People are wondering what's going to happen, and who is better to give us a little bit of an idea of what could happen, because there are energies, there are things happen both here in the physical and also in the mental and spiritual arena that has a resultant effect right where we are. And we want to find out some more about that. And with that, welcome to the show, Jeni.
Welcome,
Oh,
Jen.
thank you. I'm always grateful to be a part of you guys, always. It's always
Good
so
to
much
see
fun.
you.
And thank you for inviting me on.
Always, always. So we were talking before the show that Augie and I both thought it was like 6 months since we last saw you, but it turns out it's been a year. And I mean, so much has happened in a year. And thinking back now, that's making more sense to me. So you look amazing. You look beautiful and amazing as ever. What's been going on in your world, and what do you see coming
Well,
in
yeah,
this?
I mean, as everybody can see how much the world has changed, of course, as I've said before, like even past even few years, there's more changes now on our planet than there has been in over 10,000 years. So, even right now, I don't know if you're aware, like even in certain places, we have like robotic police officers, and it's certain things like this are freaking people out. So, even right now, I mean, this is a universal 9 year, which is completions. A lot of things are going to end, a lot of things are going to complete in so many different ways. This is the year of the snake, which can be very healing, transformational, rebirth, shedding the old skin, bringing in the new skin. However, the snake also represents health, so you have to be very cautious of that. It's that health sign, and you also have to pay attention to the deceit. It's like I can observe and I see a lot of different things, and I don't even get involved with it. I'm like, wow, really? So there's a lot of fakeness coming out. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people who are not authentic that are going to be exposed, with this eclipse that came in March. That was life changing. That eclipse basically shook the whole world up. So if you look back on the month of March, we just had, what has happened? Like, what has literally happened to you? So as we can see, what happened to you in March, like I always talk about, like even on my YouTube channel, that whenever there's things that you have to deal with, especially March, let's say with that eclipse, do not ignore it. Because if you ignore things that I don't want to deal with this, you're going to see that the eclipse and the universe brings things up in a rude awakening. Because what you ignored in March, you're going to see that coming back in September.
Yeah.
So if you were resolving things, like I purposely booked all of my appointments in March that I didn't want to deal with. All of them. All of them. Because I knew these were like life-changing decisions in either way, in so many different things. And I'm like, okay, I have to deal with all of it, not a little bit, all of it head on. So if you were dealing with things like that, then the eclipse that's coming back in September, you can be like, oh, thank God I dealt with that. Or you're going to see even more results. So even with all of these tariffs, that are in play right now and everything, like I go by what I see myself personally. There's going to be like people that don't like it and people that like it and so on, whatever. However, this is purposely happening right now. Nobody likes it, of course, because it's affecting jobs. Even when I did my predictions video, I think that for this year, I think that went out in December 2024 or early January. A lot of things have already happened and are happening right now. So these tariffs right now are bringing a lot of truth to the table right now. So for instance, even here in Canada, they're blaming, let's say, Trump. Well, it's like, why don't you look at these so-called leaders that created a lot of this? Don't just point your finger. So because the world is upside down, this has to happen right now. It's like that volcano is exploding to show what's wrong, to show what is off balance. Like I even said, the stock market was going to crash. It's happening. Billionaires are losing money and have lost money. That's going to continue. Like even the relationship with Trump and Elon Musk, that's going to fall apart. So things are coming head on, but there's a lot of things that aren't good with that, of course, as well, because, we're going to see even this September, for instance, how I mentioned March, that eclipse, I call it, it really starts off the year. We're going to see those results in September. This September, you have to be very, very, very careful what you're doing, because there can be a lot of violence coming in. There can be a lot of protests coming in. A lot of things are going to backfire. It's a very karmic time. So that's why I tell people you have to be authentic, because when you're not, it's going to be exposed and it's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this, and that. Right. So it's really, really important to really pay attention to these events that are going on right now. There's so many things that are crashing because of the tariffs. I would love to come to the US, but because our dollar it's not because of the tariffs I'm not going. It's because the Canadian dollar is horrific. Right.
Yeah.
So it's how we look at things. Nobody's happy about all of that, but they're not looking at the reality of why. Like even Trump, he's doing this on purpose just to see who's going to, it's like, okay, let me throw the bait. Let's see who's going to bite it, pretty much. Right. Because he's kind of testing the waters with so many different things right now. However, he's a risk taker. So there's things that are not going to work because of that. Protest, violence, more attempts, assassinations, like all kinds of stuff like that. And as we get towards even this summertime, even like May, June, July, you're going to see a lot of people are going to be really, really like disappointed. They're going to be like, wow, all of these promises, where are they? None of this is happening. We're going backwards. There's going to be a lot of disconnection going on, right? We're even seeing that now. So it's like with COVID, the vax compared to the unvax. Now we're taking a look at this in a different level altogether. It's just continuing on and on. So this year, even as I called it in my predictions video, it starts off with chaos, chaotic. But as we get towards the end of the year, like more so even in December, there's still going to be a lot of uncertainty, because so much is being done that is affecting people to the point where they don't trust anybody.
Yes.
Like, people are leaving their countries because of, it's everywhere. It's not just here or there. People are like, that's it. I'm leaving the country. I can't deal with this and that, with politics here and there. And the so-called leaders, as I call it, there's no real leaders, or else the world wouldn't be like this. They're not looking at humanity. They're not looking at how they're truly affecting humanity. I deal with so many different people of every day, all walks of life, suicides and everything. And the suicides are so high right now because of that. People can't be who they are. Like even people are like, I can't be married to my person anymore because, it's not going to go well, because, we're not allowed to, like all of these things. Well, I'm not going to do this because of that reason. So this year is a real shakeup. However, what's happening this year, you're going to see more so in 2027. I'm not going to go too far away, but you're going to see what you're really, really working on this year. Those results are going to come to par in 2027. So, even with myself, I've taken a step backwards in a lot of different things. You know, I might look like I'm really out there, but I'm not, you know, because there's so much ugliness going on. I have to distance away from it. So a lot of people are even looking at that, where I don't want to be a part of all of these different things now. Like, even when I had to walk away from that television deal, it's like, you know
Yeah.
what, that's awesome, that's great, but I have to look at the reality with things. You know what I mean? All of that. So it's like, especially this year, this is all about long-term goals more than short-term goals,
Hmm.
And Jen,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
you know, um, I I think it's my Aquarius with Aquarius rising. I tend to know things. I don't know why I know them, but I do know that I was very inspired to look at the deception even in my own life. Like, what's working for me, what isn't working for me, and really where, how do I really want to see my life in the not too distant future,
yeah,
and releasing and letting go of all of those things that are not in that direction, which means, that some
yeah,
people end up leaving your life as well.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I wonder, yeah, you're seeing a lot of that.
yeah. A lot of, that's why I brought up where, I've been talking about it for quite some time. As we evolve and go on a different path, like, all of this world has really shook everybody up. So when somebody goes through a transformation, it's going to be either way, either or. Somebody can slip backwards and go into the deep end, into deep depression, or some people can be like, you know what, I have to think about me. I have to think about my needs. So whenever we start being more true to who we are, setting boundaries and stuff like that, the other people, you're going to be like, wow, I don't connect with that person anymore. It's not saying I'm better than you. No, it's
No.
it's like, I just don't connect with that person anymore. So it's like we're weeding out different people in our life because we're on a whole different pathway altogether, right? And you have to stay true to you. If you start living your life how other people expect you to live your life, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out how you want it to be, because you're not staying true to who you are.
Yeah.
So this
And
is very soul year.
it's hard, Jen. I think it's hard to really feel free to be who you are. I know that when I see political posts on social media, even if I want to say something, truth be told, I'm a little scared to comment. Truth
Yeah.
be told, I
Yeah.
am scared to comment, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm not really being authentic in that
Yeah.
sense.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
not that. It's not that, you know what I mean? Because it's like drama. Like, I put a post up, just to give you an example, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And everybody, like, I was getting attacked left and right. And I'm like, what? I said, we have the freedom to speak about what we want to speak about, and then I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, look at what I put up, right? It was kind of politically, like, I'm not a supporter on liberals in Canada. Bottom line, I don't care who likes it or not. That's why it's like a war with the vax to unvax to, the government for this or the government for that. So I put a little post up like that, and boom, boom, boom. Then you just go and move to the US and you traitor and all. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? So, and I'm
Wow.
like, I don't want that drama. I don't want that negativity. So no, you have to be true to who you are, right? But yeah, sometimes if we put something up, I don't think anything of it really. And then I'm like, oh my God, here's all the negativity. Here's all like the holy crap. And I'm like, oh hell no. I don't want that in my life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
I, I,
no, right?
I have
Absolutely.
felt that one a lot. That came
Yeah,
home to me several times, but I think also that a lot of people now are in uncharted territory. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to think. They can't believe anything anymore. And
yeah,
I get emails and texts by people saying, "Hey, the world is going to the dogs," and it's Bible says that this is the end times, so we're all gonna die. All garbage like that. the thing is that, yeah, the old is going away. So it's
Yeah.
not that the earth is ending, it is a new beginning. And we
Yeah.
got to start thinking that way, because then we will have it.
Yeah. And that's, you know what I mean? Like there's certain, that's why I said you have to be yourself. You have to be authentic. Like, like my version is, this is me, this is who I am. There's going to be people that like it and people that don't. You know what I mean? But as long as I'm being true to who I am, and know where my heart is and where my intentions are, that's the only thing that matters. Right? You see people out there copying you and doing this and that. And I'm like, really? Seriously? Like, is that who you are? Like, but I let it go, and that's their thing. They'll learn. They're gonna get a reality check, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, be yourself, because we all have different abilities and like experience and talents and gifts. We all do. So
Yeah.
you should be you, and just, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And
why be somebody you're not?
in that process of rediscovering, or unearthing new gifts and talents, because the old ones don't feel good, they feel stale, they feel dusty, right? in
Yeah.
in discovering them, that's going to create a whole new reality for us, and that
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be
especially.
exciting.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, some people say, you know what, you have to be a lawyer or you have to be a doctor, let's say, to be successful. You know what I mean? I mean, the parents want their children to be, of course, successful in that. However, it's like, okay, if your child wants to be like an astronaut, let's say, for instance, right? It's like, why wouldn't you let them follow their passion? But they're going to fail. But what if they don't? And do they not have to experience that to say that, you know what, that isn't for me? Okay, well, where are you drawn to next? You should be yourself. You know what I mean? I've seen so many
Yeah.
different people, like, who have completely and utterly did a huge transformation. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was so excited for them. Like, I'm like, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you, but we have to go through, like our traumas, let's say, traumatic experiences, to wake us up, like to really wake us up. Like, look at the world,
Yep.
and you might even find this week coming up here that you could get a little bit even more emotional too, by the way. Right. So,
Well, it's a very emotional time, and if I could have one wish, Jen, I just wish people would be kinder to each other.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, the level of um, disrespect,
Yeah.
lack of compassion. We
Yeah,
really could
exactly.
use an upgrade on that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it shows
Yeah.
you too, like, who your friends are, who your real friends are. You know what I mean? Like even something I went through, it's still going through. I really saw who my real friends were.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Abs-
mean? Like, it's like just certain things. I mean, if nobody knows about it, then they're not going to know anything. But it's like, in certain times, we can see who our soul tribe is. Like, I have soul tribes all over the world, and it's not like you have to talk to that person every day, because life gets busy, and even like, I have a friend who I talk to maybe once every 4 years, and I've known him since I was a teenager, and I just connected with him not long ago. And he's actually, I'm coming up that way this summer. And I'm like, oh my God, it'd be great to see you, but it's not, and he's like part of my soul tribe. So we don't have to, like, you know, talk to our, like our friends every day or whatever, because when there's that soul connection, it's like, wow, have you ever talked to somebody? It's like, I just felt like I talked to you yesterday or a couple of days ago, and it could have been years ago.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Right.
I
Absolutely.
just I
Go
just
ahead.
got I just got a text here about 11 seconds ago, and the question was, is there any major occurrences that you see in the future, near future, I think he said, like maybe disclosure?
Oh, that's been coming out for quite some time. There's a lot of disclosure that's been coming out for quite some time. Like, for those of you who pay attention, like, the truth gets exposed. Like, even that eclipse, what was hidden, right? it's coming to the surface more. And it could be anything. That's going to come out throughout this whole entire year, you know, and that's when it's like people are going to get that reality check even more and more and more. Like there's even cures for cancer, you know, and you might even hear, but the medical field doesn't want you to know that, of course, right? Because they'd lose
Yeah.
money. So you actually might even hear about something like that. There's a cure for lung cancer, and that's coming way over from Russia, by the way. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different things for the good, because people have had enough crap, bottom line. So this is where certain people are going to be like, you know what? I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to talk about that. Where people are like, oh my gosh, look at pictures coming up that of disclosure, you know, and you're like, oh my God, is that a real? Yes, it is. So there's so much, you know, like exposure coming, especially in the government world, the political world, and the medical world. You know, a lot of ugliness is coming to the courts, coming out more and more and more and more and more, right? A lot of different things are, you know, it's like, take a look at different elections and stuff like that. It's like, you know, some people are like, why should I vote? Because it's just all rigged anyways. You know, lots of things like that are coming to the surface more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
oh
don't.
yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah, I don't claim to be a psychic anymore, but I got a prediction that 2 years from now, half the Congress of the United States will be retired or in prison.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that
So
that is something that we have seen coming. It's coming
yeah,
out. That kind of
yeah,
information out, there's no way to hide it anymore. And
no.
that will be part of the new beginning.
Yeah, like, you know, and that's the thing. It's all of these scandals, as I call it. All of these scandals are coming, you
Yeah.
know, and people are like, well, like, look at how many people have been exposed that are well known as it is. So
Yeah.
people are like, well, I have billions and millions of dollars. I'm famous, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's just energy. So, you know, what you have done is going to be coming up when you're not expecting it. This is the eclipse. When that eclipse comes, expect the even myself, it's like unexpected news. And I'm like, what? You know, so the eclipse can bring good news, miracles, huge opportunities, and it can bring like real not so good news. So, you know, exposure even more and more and more and more and more. That's why the earth, you know, like, you know, talks, as I call it, earthquakes and, you know, this and this and this and that. Energies, you know, Mother Earth, as I call it, they've had enough abuse. They've had enough abuse over all of these wars and all of these things, how people treat the planet. It's like anything nuclear, negative energy, people don't realize how much it affects the earth. It's like, take a look at your body. If you're surrounded in negative energy all day long, every day, what's going to happen to your body? Your body is
Yeah.
picking up all of these negative energies, body, mind, and soul, you know, so it's going to start having issues in all of these different things. So it's like the earth, like even here, it's interesting. I just remembered this. So look at the photo of the earth behind me. Augie and I, before it started, you know, I said, does this light over here look better or whatever? Like blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, well, why is the right? And I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect. So if you take a look at this earth photo back here, right, you can see that on the right side, it's lit, right? It's lighter. And then on the other side, it's darker. So we have those light and dark energies. We have the positive and negative energies, the yin and the yang, the male, the female, all of that stuff. So sometimes the light, you know, I'll just say this, dark forces are dark forces. They are there and they grasp and they go around more people when they're vulnerable. Vulnerability attracts the dark forces even more and more and more, right? I could go on and on and on about that, but the light always wins. Higher consciousness always wins. So let's say if I'm out, let's say, or whatever like that, because I can read energy in seconds. So I can walk through a stadium with 1 million people and I can point to every single person and tell you if they're good or bad, to be very blunt, right? So it's like the light over, you know, outshines the dark because nobody realizes my abilities. So if I went walking in a place somewhere, I don't have to say a word. I can see, right? The light outshines the darkness.
Yeah.
So true. So
Yeah. And
true.
I see now that we're down at the bottom of the hour, and for those of you that joined us late, we are talking with Jeni Cousins, and we have been talking about what's coming. What does the universe have in mind for us? And if you didn't hear it, you just may want to come back and listen to this again, because there's some good stuff in here. Gives us some ideas of what to expect. I want to also say that Jeni G's website is soulworkwithjeni.com. So for those of you that want to surf while you listen, soulworkwithjeni.com. And also she has a column in a magazine that's SF Yoga Magazine. And the column is Just Ask Jeni G. And ask her a question and you'll get an answer. And then in the second hour here, if you guys out there listening have a question, let's get an answer.
We have some. We have some questions queued up. Thank you for your super chats. Margaret and Denise, thank you. So sweet. Thank you. We're really grateful. Then the first is Denise. She's female. Her sign is Libra. And Denise asks, did we go through another timeline the other day? I was jolted out of bed. Very powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of, as I call it, cosmic shakeup, different energy. That's why I do like my cosmic vibes video, like every week. And I will tell you what's going on every single day with energy, how it's going to affect you, what you could be going through, how to work with it, what to do, what not to do. So the energy has been very, very intense. So it's like, look back even on your like physical body, let's say. So if you were going through a lot of different procedures, medically, let's say, for instance, for the past few months, your body even now is starting to get more grounded and come back to terms with what has just happened. So when you've been going through like even a transformation, let's say, with I hear the name Linda, I don't know why for some reason. But anyways, so when you are going through a transformation, you will feel those jolts go right through you, because it's like your spirit, the universe, is downloading information to you. So you might have even felt that your sleep was off. It's like, why aren't I sleeping? I'm so tired. Like, why am I still up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, what's up with that? You know what I mean? So your body is readjusting energetically to a lot of different things that you were exposed to or that you were going through, and all of that to get you back grounded. As we are moving out of the eclipse season with Mercury retrograde, there's so many different energies going on right now. So it's just like, really pay attention to your body right now, especially drink a lot of water, like a lot of water. Like I have, like even here, like this bottle here, that's 1.5 liters. And I drink about 4 of those a day, sometimes more. Yeah, because it helps flush out toxins with those solar flares, solar energy. It affects you right away. So that's why. So just kind of listen to your body. So if your body is like, wow, I have so much energy, work out, but don't, especially this year, it doesn't matter if you're an athlete or not, do not push anything. Do stretches, that's important anyways. However, this year it's more crucial to be doing more gentle stretches. I don't care if you're like an athlete or 90 years old, because the energy is very different this year. So that's what's been going on.
That's interesting. It's impacting the cells even different. Yeah.
It affects everything, right? It's like downloading. So it's like whenever you get a program, oh yeah, give me a minute, I'm just waiting for it to download, right? So your computer is downloading. So it's like the universe, right? The universe is like, okay, we're going to send some downloads to that person. So it's the same thing. It's like, okay, give yourself a little bit of time, but because you're human, it takes time on all different levels to really come down and break it through to get yourself back grounded. And especially this week being a Libra full moon, you know, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer is going to be really affected even more. So there's certain signs that get affected. So you can be a lot more emotional, but you're going to want harmony and grounding and all of that right now. So be mindful of that, right?
Mm. We have another question. Margaret, oops, sorry. I'm so sorry. Bear with me. The an advertisement just popped up. Sorry.
Of course, right? There's going to be a lot more of that too by the way, this year. There's going to be a lot more people. There's going to be a lot more of that going on this year because they're removing people from their jobs, the so-called.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is Margaret. Margaret is a female, Gemini, and Margaret asks, should I stay where I am geographically, or is there anything specific? No. Wow.
Just right away, but go on with the question. Sorry.
Oh, is there anything specific I should know?
Yeah. You know, it's, you know, I really felt that your soul, if you look back at everything, your soul has been pulling you to wanting change, you know, and as soon as you talk about staying where you are, I heard no right away. So I keep on hearing, you already know from your heart which direction you want. I keep seeing water as well for some reason. I'm seeing a long distance move. It's not like I'm seeing you staying, you know, moving around the block. So where your heart has been pulling you to, I keep on hearing home for some reason. Back home, you might feel like a home there if it's not where you used to live or have that homey feeling. But you know, sometimes we're like, oh my God, we go into the fear mode. Oh my God, what's going to happen if I move and all of that. This is why it's like, okay, is your heart pulled to that location? Write down the positives and the negatives as well. Be realistic and listen to your heart and set some long-term goals, not sudden boom moves. You could up and decide even to go this summer if you really wanted to, by the way. But I'm seeing that a move for you. It's almost like where you're at. Oh God, you know, like I don't know. But once you make that move, you're going to be like, wow, you know, now I can do all of these different things, and new doors are going to open up for you.
So that's very nice. Very, very nice. David was born he's Taurus, born in May. Is a spiritual number 22. And David, I don't see your question. Let me look down. Okay. Do people who experience mandala effects, are they individuals that shifted yet remember things from the previous shift? Interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, because you're an old soul, like he's an old soul. He's been getting a lot of insights for quite some time, like quite some time.
Ground floor opportunity that exists here.
As the frequency and the vibration is rising in him, you know, as I said before, you know, this is a year of the snake, transformation, shedding the old skin into the new skin, rebirth, all of that, right, and healing. So, you know, David's finding that his energy is like rising higher. And I'm also hearing, I'm literally like seeing him sitting in a group. Like if he's not already in a group, he very well will be, you know, involved in a group, and everybody's going to be talking, you know, all spiritual kind of thing and everything. He's a good speaker, like a good speaker. Like he's like a leader more so than a follower. So whenever you're getting that pull to, you know, I got to start speaking more, because this is a year of like humanity, being more of service. It's like, that's why I didn't take that television job either. You know, long story, but because I'd rather be more in service, helping other people and so on and so on and so on for different reasons, right? So you're going to find that, gosh, you know, listen to that inner voice when it says, speak, get yourself out there. You know, you'll be really, really surprised And I don't know, you might not connect with this right now, but I'm literally seeing him sitting there like in a chair and listening to what people are saying or whatever. And there's something about winking an eye. I don't know if you're going to be winking an eye at somebody or you have a winking eye kind of a
Interesting.
situation. Something with that. I don't know what that is, but pay attention to that.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Linda, you were
Oh,
hearing
oh,
Linda.
okay.
Linda is an Aquarian. She's female. And is this new change coming for me this weekend the best change, or should I keep looking for something else?
The change this weekend will be okay. Sometimes we have to get our feet wet to take us to where we're supposed to be, bottom line. If you are not feeling that passionate, this is year to really do what you're passionate, like more of your abilities and talents are being shown for you to utilize that to really expand it. So if you're not really feeling that passion about it, or I don't know, maybe just pause, because opportunities can come and go. They really can. Big ones, small ones, whatever. So if you held back, you'd still be okay because there's other new doors opening up for you, but you have to be very, very specific of what you want.
Really good. Tamara, do you have a question? I see that Tamara said, do birthdays have something to do with how energy affects us? Just in case, she put her birthday, but she's Pisces with Libra rising and a Libra moon, and of course she's female.
Like I read into somebody's energy first off, birthday or no birthday. Like I ask for birthdays for other reasons, right? But we can be like clash with a different sign, let's say. Well, I'm not going to date that person because they're the opposite sign of me. Well, there's a lot more to it than that. A lot more to it than that. If I met somebody, for instance, and they're like, well, I'm this sign, and I'm going to be like, well, hell, I don't get along with that sign. I'm not walking away. You know what I mean? You go by the energy, how it feels. So we meet different people for different reasons. Like you could meet like somebody that has all aligned up with the stars and birth dates and everything, and that you guys could be like enemies. How would that happen? Like our birthdays? No, it does. It does show compatibilities with certain things. Yes, it does show things that you might not connect with or get along with each other and so on and so on, right? But it's like, I get that. I'll be like, oh, so what sign are you? What zodiac? What astrology sign? You know what I mean? Curiosity. But I read the energy. I go by the person's soul, not by a star sign. But it can help, yes, of course, right? But I would just keep yourself open for that. I keep on hearing you need to get more adventures, by the way, as well. You need to get out there more, be more adventures, and trust the process. Put your guards down right away, I heard.
Interesting. Very interesting.
There's other stuff there's one thing I just want to tell you guys too is because this is live and stuff, there are other aspects and things that I do see with the people who ask me questions, but if it's something very private and stuff, I won't talk about it because that's very personal. So I have a tendency to hold back as well. And that's why I'm like, if you do want to book a reading with me to get a full explicit reading, book through my website. So just to let you guys know, it's like even on my YouTube channel, I'll do the same thing. I'll give out information, but I'm like, I'm not going to say your husband's having an affair on live air. Not that that's happening, but that has happened when I had my other show. Oh my God. But you know what I mean? That's why I don't do that.
So Linda said, thank you, Jeni. It feels good, really good, but it still feels like I need to keep reaching. That's good.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Do you see in general a lot of movement, like a lot of people moving? I mean, even in this little town that I'm in, I'm seeing it poised for growth. A lot of people, from other states are coming to this little bitty town, which is amazing. So is there a lot of translocation going on? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And because everybody's seen so much truth being exposed. And I mean, that's just going to keep on happening and happening and happening. You know what I mean? Nobody can run from karma. It catches up with that person. Like I said, doesn't matter if you have billions of dollars and you're famous. No, it's irrelevant. That's just energy. So when you're getting really cold, like even me, I'm not a city person at all. Like I like more peace and quiet, all of that kind of stuff. So because there's been awakening and stuff, people are like, I don't want to live in this community anymore. It's so negative. No matter if it's a city or like a countryside or wherever it is, people are like, I got to get away. I've been changing so much. I'm tired of the politics. I'm tired of this or this or this or this or that. And it's really important to follow and listen to your heart, like your heart. You know, where are you drawn to go to? Like, you know, even myself, even that opportunity was right at the location I wanted to move to. I'm like, what? Really? You know, but it's like there's certain things that, you know, could be issues with that. So it's like, look at everything that's involved. And if you're like, you know, I could wait longer. This is a year to make long-term plans, you guys, with the universal 9-year, not boom, make fast choices. Boom. If somebody is forcing you and pushing you to make a decision right now, like we need to know right now, I you know, all of that kind of stuff, back away. Sorry that I'm just not the right person now. Really pay attention to that, because there's motive. There's people out there that have motives, and it's not for the goodness of you. It's for the benefit of them.
Yeah.
I have a question. Von Devon, Devo, Devon, I don't want to assume your gender, but could you just type your gender in the chat so I can give Jeni your question? So, Margaret, who you said no about she should move, Margaret said, thanks, Jeni, sending love. You feel like a sister. Jeni always feels like a sister. She does. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, you got to keep it real. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just got to be yourself. When you're being yourself, you'll attract your tribe to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You will.
So
if you're being somebody or not, it goes a different way.
Yeah. Devin is male, and his birthday is February 1st. And Devin asks, where could I find a mentor for what I'm trying to do? That's a good question.
What I would do, it's pay attention to what are you drawn to? Like what do you want to do? What direction? Like if you let's say you wanted to be a scientist, for an example, right? What I would be doing is I'd be Googling scientists and seeing which one you're drawn to. You know, do you connect with what they're saying? Do you feel like, you know, I'm liking what this person is about, what they're saying? That's your mentors. You know, like I have a lot of different mentors I look up to, and I'm like, wow, like, you know, they're amazing. So I will sit back and, you know, watch them or read their books or their material or whatever, you know. So I would start going by that, because we all have our own, you know, some people are like, oh my God, I don't like that person you're into. Well, of course you're not, because you're not me. Where somebody might be, well, I like that person. I might be like, that's just not my type of person. There's no right or wrong. You have to go by who you're drawn to and what, if you connect with that person, you know what I mean? There can be there's so many different people to choose from. I'm like, oh, I just don't get what that person is saying. They're just, no, I just don't connect. It's not that I'm putting that person down. It's like, it's just not the right person for me, let's say, to follow or to be a part of, or, you know, all of that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. David said, I find it very interesting about what you said about groups relative to me, Jeni. So that was definitely that landed properly. That was great. Yeah. So I don't see anybody have any other questions? Let's see. Okay, here's one. Jennifer, I don't see your sign.
Does she have a
If you can
question? Like, any question there at all?
yeah, hang on for a second. I just lost it. Bear with me. Sorry.
Technical.
So Jennifer, the question is there any way you can tell me what my life purpose is? I feel like I have an important task, but I just stock groceries. People tell me I need to examine my spirituality, but I feel like I do. But I feel like I
Yeah,
do.
like right away, what I'm hearing for you is immediately set boundaries. This is when you have to do that soul searching. Like I'm hearing like you literally have this really big heart. You're a giver, and you're good with people. Like people have a tendency to draw towards you even more. However, I do have a few concerns actually that are around you with just certain people. Without going into details, of course. So it's really important for you to surround yourself with positive people, more so because who we hang out with and surround ourselves with, we become. So I do have a lot of concerns around that, as I mentioned. But when you are trying to find who you are in your path, really take a look at, what am I really drawn towards? What you don't need to ask anybody, because your path is not going to be the same as other people, or it could be similar. But I hear you're this really good caretaker. You'd be a phenomenal nurse. You'd be a phenomenal, like, looking after people, being of humanity. Animals, I'm hearing around you too. There's so many different talents because you're an old soul. So I would start writing down, if you could have any job in the world or any career, what would it be? And you could be like, well, I don't have training. Well, then start looking, start taking classes. Don't look at the negatives. Well, that might take me a long time. Then you have to ask yourself, do you really want that? Like, do you really, really want that? So this is kind of like that sacred time right now, and especially this week coming up with this full moon. Just kind of take a step back, really pay attention to this. There's a lot of old wounds coming to the surface as well this week. So you might even want even more space for yourself right now.
It's nice. Here's a big question. This is from Linda. Linda asked, will our Canadian political swamp actually get drained this year?
Oh God, like, don't even get me started on that. Like, don't even get me started on that. Like, I could be here all night. You know what I mean? Like, if people are like, I'm going to be very blunt. I'm sorry, people might not like it, but if anybody votes Liberals, you're just setting yourself up for the same thing that we've had with Trudeau. Bottom line, and it'll get worse. So if you haven't learned your lessons from voting Liberal, I warned people even years ago before all that happened, but doesn't matter. It's just going to repeat itself again. It's all a game right now, basically, to pull you into this new person. But I ain't voting Liberal, I can tell you that. So I don't like to read into who's going to win, because I will get really upset if it's going to be the other idiot, bottom line. So that's why I don't read into that. That's why that post up, the simple post I put up like last week or a couple of weeks ago. Oh, and the drama from it. And I'm like, are you like, what? So it's very sensitive right now. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just
you know what I
want
mean?
to jump back for a minute to the person who asked about the mentor. You said sometimes with sign, I'm mixing two conversations, but you said sometimes with signs we don't get along with people. There were times when I had mentors or coaches that I didn't really like warm and fuzzy like them.
Yeah.
What they had to help me learn during that time was really more important than me having a warm and fuzzy relationship with them. And for me, when I see my next mentor, I'm like, that's it. That's them. That's them right there. And then I make contact. Sometimes I go a long time asking for a mentor or a coach,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't get it, and then
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
them.
But you know what? It's really important though, like, to, it's like with a mentor, let's say, when you're really feeling that vibe with them, that's your right person, that's your right mentor. you know, whenever we're learning something, there's always going to be, oh, this is hard. It doesn't matter, because when you're with the right mentor, things are going to flow really nicely, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And whenever you come across something that's challenging, you know, like it's like I've taken classes years and years ago and stuff like that. And, you know, there's been a couple of, you know, like workshops or teachers I didn't really care for that much, but I've always learned something. But would I go back to them? Never. Right. So it's really important, like certain mentors that I've been connected to for many years, we're so on the same level. So when you're feeling that you're like on the same level, or you're like, wow, I'd like to be at their level, then you're at a really good vibrational frequency, and then it'll only go up. If you're with a mentor that you really don't care about or like, or it's off, that's not the right person for you, and you're not going to learn nothing.
Especially
that's why when I get asked to go to be involved with certain other things, if I'm not caring for the energy, if I can see that energy is deceitful or a lot of things, I'll say, no, I'm sorry, this isn't, thank you for the opportunity, but no. So
wow.
yeah, that's
agree.
just myself. That's just myself. I'm like, no, thank you for the opportunity. I'm always grateful, no matter what it is. I've turned many opportunities down if it doesn't feel right for me. But I mean, I'll read into the situation first, right? And I'm going to be
Well,
ending a lot of things, and I already have been anyway. So
Yes.
boy, I see we are down to about 4 minutes left of the show.
wow.
And Augie, wait, before we talk about closing up, Jeni, you were talking about that you're not a city person. You like to, live in the peaceful.
Yeah.
Where can people see your photography? Because that your photography is so beautiful, and it's always about nature, and it's always so magical. Is there somewhere where people can enjoy your photography as well?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of all over the place, but I mean, if you do want to check it out, go to Instagram, like Jeni, JeniGji photography, because I traveled even before, and somebody might be, oh, you just put a travel photo up. And I'm like, are you there? And I'm like, no. I said, I haven't been able to travel, but I have thousands of photos I've taken over the years. And I'm like, oh, that one, I don't know. That one looks okay. I'll just kind of put it out there. So I belong to a lot of different photography groups and have like a website where people can buy my stuff, all kinds of things. But Instagram is where, you really can take a look at it, because there's a lot of different things up there. Jeni GJI photography.
Beautiful.
So I take
beautiful.
it like whatever I'm drawn to, and it could be anything. Like it's not, or you just in landscape, or no, whatever is I'm pulled
I love
towards.
your photography. Your photography
Thank
is
you.
always magical. And just one more time, Jen, how can people reach you for readings or healing or
It's best really to go through my website, soulworkwithjeni.com. There's different places on there you can, like send an email contact and such like that. And, then I'll get back to you. Like you should actually subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, Jeni Cousins, because my weekly cosmic vibes, I will tell you what's going to happen every single day, like with energy.
good.
And you're going to feel this today, or you could be feeling that. This is the day to manifest. This is the day to not do this. And it just helps people get a better understanding. And then you can go back and listen to you like, oh, my, how did you know that was going to happen? That happened. But energy is energy. And I go by, what is the energy? How am I feeling that day for certain events? And then it just helps you work through. It's like certain days I won't go doing certain things, or I'm like, well, I'm not going to go sign a contract that day. No way. Certain things like that.
Yeah, that's great. Jenny, we so appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us again. It's so good to
Grateful. Always
share
grateful.
space. Yeah, yeah. Augie, you want to take us out?
Yeah, but first, I want to ask you my favorite question again. Jeni, if you could talk to the whole world and the world was listening, what would you tell them?
Well, to sum it up, to make it simple, just be yourself. You know what I mean? We can get advice from a million people, let's say, but it's really important for you to listen to your own voice of what feels right for you. Because if you just go along with, you know, other things, you're not going to be able to really express who you are and be passionate and really do what you want, because all these other people expect you to be a certain way. Like once upon a time ago, I used to do sales many, many moons ago. And then I left whenever my boss at that time said, Jenny, you should be conservative and cut your hair short and wear that. Oh, and I'm like, that'll be the day in hell that I'm going to be doing that, you know? So I'm like, this just isn't for me anymore, because I'm not myself, even though I was signing $1 million contracts and all of this stuff as is, right? So you have to be yourself. You have to be authentic, because if you're not authentic, it's not going to work, because the vibrational frequency won't keep you there. People are like, how do you get opportunities all the time? You go looking. I'm like, I never go looking. They come to me.
Yeah,
right?
I totally agree. You need to be yourself, because everybody else is taken.
Yeah, exactly. And why would you be somebody you're not? Like, you know, if I'm going to be a scientist, is that who I am? No. You know, might have interest in that, but you know what I mean, right? It's like, you got to be yourself, because every one of us are here for a reason. We all have abilities and gifts and talents. Why copy somebody and be somebody you're not? Like, for what reason? When you're being you, magic happens.
Yes, it is. Yes, it does. I sure appreciate you coming on with us again. This was so much fun.
So much fun. So grateful. And I'm very thankful for you both so very much.
Yep, I'm sure we will do this again. And then to the listeners out there, when you go to YouTube, please subscribe, because that'll help us a lot. And until next time.